here to report on week 1 of my energy experiment from behind the sidelines of New York, where I am currently in my, I'm going to choose my words wisely because I promised myself I would, just like the less than ideal circumstances for me. And I planned on coming on here more than just like one day this week as my first week, but didn't happen because this was like the roughest week for me. And I think it'll hopefully keep getting better, because this week felt like rock bottom. So if you are new here, I am experimenting with what happens when you choose life instead of things that you have to do because of survival. And by life, I mean, keep choosing things that have energy for you. Keep choosing things that light you up. Move towards things that bring you more energy instead of things that are draining you, because we feel like we live on, we do. We live on this planet where we have to make money. We have to do things we don't want to do in order to survive. But that is what it is, right? It's just surviving. It's not thriving inside of our own lives. And I've done that for far too long. I have chose things that meant I was just surviving and I wasn't actually enjoying my life. I wasn't here to embrace life. I was here just to get by. And so now I'm choosing differently. And so I'm in New York City it was 6 weeks. I just knocked down a week. So now I'm here for 5 more weeks. And the first week was rough, but I had some really interesting takeaways, because the first day that I was here back in the office, that was kind of like just me observing what's happening inside my body. And what I observed was I was like, all my tension was building back up. Like I did Kundalini the day before, and I tried to just open my body up and allow myself to just be open and receiving mode. And that happened, but then it closed back up as easily as it opened the next day. And, I felt like indigestion start to happen more because more pressure was building up inside my body. And then day 2, there were uncomfortable conversations I have 2 bosses, and one of them I get along with really well, and the other, we have an interesting relationship dynamic, and there's a lot of like power games, power trips that he likes to play with me, because I'm not like everyone else. I don't really follow the rules, and I don't really adhere to what other people say. I don't play the games. I'm myself, and that's all I want to be. I don't want to have to play games in order to get ahead, because I don't want to get ahead. Because I am planning on, at the end of 5 weeks. And so there was like an uncomfortable conversation, and then I just noticed I kept replaying that conversation in my mind over and over and over again. And by the end of the day, my body was so stiff and so tense and in so much physical pain because of the rumination, because I'm replaying a story in my mind about his intentions. I'm replaying a story in my mind that's making my body feel a certain way. And I went to Kundalini that night reactively. I was like, I have to go. I have to get this out of my body. And for one, that's applying pressure to myself and the situation and Kundalini. Like, I'm using Kundalini as a technology to make things go away instead of using it as a way to connect to myself. And not only that, but I realized how harmful, because I'm someone that mind chatter, like I will ruminate on situations and circumstances and someone's intentions till literally the end of time. And I think that's a normal human thing. I think a lot of people do that, but I'm realizing now just how harmful it is to the body, because yes, the first event that happens, it causes impact to the body, but then the mind and the body don't know if something is currently happening or not. But the more you replay it in your mind, your body thinks it's currently happening, and it's causing more impact to the body. And so I decided that I need to work on not only ruminating and creating stories and assuming someone's intentions, but just, and I don't mean this from a toxic positivity standpoint, but pay close attention to the thoughts that are going on inside my mind, because those thoughts are sending instructions for how my body needs to orient itself, how my body needs to close off or open up and soften up. And the thoughts that I was particularly having were closing my body up. And when I did Kundalini, I was in so much pain. All I could focus on was the physical pain inside my body and my lack of mobility, because I could not do anything. And this was a particularly really hard class where we had to hold 11-minute postures with like our hands up in the air, like in a mudra. And I mean, my mind is strong enough now where I can tell it what to do, and so I was able to stay in it for the 11 minutes, but I was in a lot of pain as I was doing this. But like, I didn't override what my body could do. I stayed with my body the entire time, like mindful of if I'm going to cause myself more harm, more injury by doing so, and it wasn't that kind of a situation. Sometimes, like in Kundalini, there are moments when you will feel this burn if you've held your arms up for so long, but that burn is actually a good thing. It's not like causing harm to your body. It's emotional pain leaving the body in a physical way. You feel the physical pain, and like sometimes you need to like scream it out and cry it out. Like I couldn't scream it out because we're in a meditative practice, so I was just as I was holding it up, like tears were just pouring out of my eyes, and I didn't try to search my mind to make meaning of what those tears mean, like what it's from. I just let it pass. I let it just flow through me, and it's still not out. This is like built up stuff from like, it's very historical, but like on top of that was like the newer stuff from the week. And so I just like allowed myself to tear through it, and we did this 3 times, 3 different holds of 11 minutes each, which was very difficult for what my body could do at that moment. But I stayed with myself, I stayed with my body, my mind, I had to instruct it that it could do it. But the thing that like after that session I came to was, I am constantly telling my mind how to organize itself with tension and stuckness by constantly focusing on the things that are upsetting me within the job, instead of just, and again, not toxic positivity, but there are parts of the job that I am so endlessly grateful for and so blessed. For one, it's the ability to have content for you guys and for my Substack, that I can be in an environment that causes me distress. Reporting from the front lines, that's what I meant to say before, the front lines. Reporting from the front lines in an environment that I don't particularly want to be in, because I can imagine we all go through this, right? Like we feel forced to be inside jobs we don't want, maybe even roommate situations, housing situations that we don't particularly want or feel good in, maybe even cities that we feel trapped in that we have no way out of. And so I realized, someone had commented on my Instagram, because I did a post about this, and it was like, well, this just sounds like victimhood because you can change. And she's like, because she said something about how if you don't like it, then move. Like that's what I did. I changed a city, and then I just tried to point out that that's not a feasible or a viable option for a lot of people, because a lot of people have deeply rooted lives. Like maybe they have kids in school, and maybe they just can't afford to. They don't have the means to do it right now. So like, what can you do if you feel stuck in an environment where you can't possibly leave right now? And so that's the beauty and the gift of what this job is giving me right now. It's giving me the ability to share with you guys what is working with me, because it's not a viable option for me right now to leave. I have to be here for 5 more weeks. So what do I do in the meantime? What do you do in the meantime if you can't leave and your body is screaming at you and you are desperate for a way out but can't possibly do it, and you're focusing on the wrong thing that's generating depletion into your body. Wow. For me, like I said, I'm going to keep noticing. And right now I'm still in the gathering information phase because my body just like broke out in hives this week. I just got my menstrual cycle. I'm like literally ground zero of depletion. As you can see, I have these patches on my neck because I can't turn right. I gathered so much stiffness in my neck and shoulders that I'm not an ambi-turner right now. And so I'm literally at, my body's at the worst it can be right now, and that only took me 1 week. So it just shows you how powerful your mind is, right? So this week was for noticing what happens, what this environment does to me, what my mind instructs my body to do, and also how my mind is oriented. Because the more we focus on, like I said, the negative sides of how something makes us feel, we're telling our body how to feel. And we are telling our body to deplete ourselves of energy so that we can just coast through unemotionally, just go on autopilot, not feel anything, just damage our bodies and just look straight ahead, like putting on your blinders. And that's honestly going to cause, like, I understand like sometimes you have to do it to survive, like not shaming anyone if you have to do that or if you're currently doing that. I'm just trying to highlight what it actually does do to you. And so yeah, it impacts your body, as you can see. Like I have, and I'll post here what my skin looks like right now, all the conditions that I'm going through. It is detrimental to be in situations that are harming you. And like, yes, am I being a little dramatic? Sure, because it's just a job, but it's a job that my soul is like slowly like shrinking up in, because it is a very high pressure environment. Like I work in corporate finance, but not just corporate finance. I work in a Wall Street trading type situation where there's constantly yelling and cursing and high emotions and intensity on the desk. And then I'm in a city that has a lot of pollution and a lot of toxicity, et cetera, et cetera. But there are people that I know that might not be able to leave because maybe it's a toxic or abusive relationship and things like that. And it's dangerous or life-threatening to leave, or to even just like change your mindset around it, because that's probably not possible. Like you can't fake positivity in a situation like that. So there are definitely outliers when I talk about this sort of thing, but right now I'm sticking with, this is something, my situation's manageable, and it is something that I can control in the sense that I can tell my body how to orient. And that is what I am going to be working with. I tried this week, but then when I got my menstrual cycle, it was like game over. I lost all control with how I could speak to myself and how I could control my thoughts. I was just so overtaken by fatigue. And so yeah, that is where I'm at right now, is just remembering to focus on the benefits that I'm getting right now. And like the biggest one is that this job, like it's great money and it's going to be funding my next phase of life, my next chapter. Like I couldn't imagine if I had any other job, I would never be able to do this, like never. So for that, I'm blessed. For that, I'm grateful. And I will keep focusing on that and telling my body how to orient around that, aka stay open, stay soft, because I want to leave this chapter feeling soft, feeling open, feeling ready for what is coming next, because I'm excited. I'm excited for, I don't want to say having no responsibility, but my energy is my responsibility. My energy is what I'm going to be pouring into, just so I can see what happens when that happens. And I think that is the beautiful part of this chapter and being here in New York in an office after 5.5 years, seeing the dichotomy of what it's like to not choose my energy, or at least try to in an environment that doesn't suit me, and then seeing the complete opposite effect of, okay, well, what happens beyond this when I do leave the job? How much more does my life open up because I am choosing things that my soul is like so called towards. And I think that is, oh, right, one more thing that came up. I had this thought come to me, and it had to do with, like, yeah, I'm sure you've heard people say, stay open to receiving. Like, most people aren't comfortable with receiving. What is receiving? This also came up during the week, like during Kundalini, because I realized I actually had that one opportunity 2 or 3 weeks ago where my body was finally safe enough to open up and receive. And what was receiving? Receiving just means your body feels safe enough to receive energy into it, because we are so all used to depleting ourselves, like doing things that don't feel good to our souls, you know, maybe pouring into people and not receiving much back because our body actually doesn't feel safe. Sorry, I'm like the hives. I'm literally broken out into hives, and my foot just started like itching like crazy. I forgot to mention, yeah, I got hives as well. Yeah, so our bodies don't feel like they feel safe enough to receive energy, receive input into them, because we have never given ourselves energetic input, because we've been so focused on using our energy to output it into the world, into things that we don't want to do, into people that aren't giving back to us, into relationship dynamics just to keep them functioning and keeping them around, like keeping the relationships in survival, because we're pouring into relationships that were actually never meant to stick around. Oh, so much pain. And so being open to receive is when your body finally feels safe enough because you poured enough into it and released enough stagnation from it that your body finally has room for more energy intake. And with that energy intake, you're building capacity. So like when I say releasing energy, like because of stagnation, I need to like remind myself to say pressure. You're releasing built up pressure, which is that unprocessed emotional shrapnel, the emotional gunk that we take in every single day when we're in environments that cause us harm and stress. We are constantly building up pressure inside of a system that already has pressure, which is why it's so important when you're inside. So uncomfortable when you're inside of an environment that causes you so much distress. It is so important to constantly be moving your body and moving that stress out of your body. And the last video I posted, I actually posted a link to my depressurizing videos, which will be so helpful for you to do every single day, or if you can get a moment every hour of the day to step away and like do some of them, because they only last a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They're like so inconsequential in terms of the amount of time, but what you'll get back from them is like innumerable. Like it will pay you back tenfold, because it's depressurizing your system from everything you've accumulated. If you can do it, and I don't recommend overdoing it, by the way, because you have to work with your body and what your body can do. If you do too big of releases, your system will shut down, because, and I don't mean this in a scary way, your system will shut down because it'll get so beyond tired that you will kind of crash out a little bit. Like not in like a harmful way, just you don't want to like do the opposite effect of deplete your energy tenfold because your body's trying to keep up with the release. But yeah, just do one, like choose one exercise a day and do it. Like I would say start off doing it once a day and then build up from there. Again, you don't want to overdo it to your system, but at least like if you can like every hour just like shake your body a little bit, or like kind of stomp your feet just to get some energy moving, like that would be helpful. But then the exercises that are on that video link, do those once a day, and then you can increase them as you get used to them. But yeah, like if you allow your body to release that pressure, and then after that you can build the energy back up. Building the energy back up is inputting energy into your system. So that to me is how I feel like the order of operations is. Keep in mind, I don't know this, like I don't know this for 100% certainty, but I know what's true for my body, because the second I started doing those depressurizing exercises for the nervous system, like those somatic exercises like the workout witch and things like that, the second I started doing those, the more my system was coming down from all of that pressure, and then my body started craving capacity building workouts, like those high intensity interval training workouts, Barry's boot camp. Now I'm obsessed with Barry's boot camp, and I couldn't do Barry's for the longest time because my body could not accept strain on it, because it was in such survival that felt overwhelming to my body. And once the overwhelm left my system, I craved that, because it was like this deeper way to create more space inside my body and to build my energy back up. And so to me, that I feel like is how to start learning to receive, is releasing everything from our bodies, all that built up pressure that we were never meant to hold, because our body feels safe enough to let it go and create more space for fresh life to circulate through us. And to me, change, it's a two-part system. It's how we talk to our body, so our mind, and then also how our body holds energy and pressure. Releasing the pressure has to happen like 100%. And then learning to be with energy when it does arise, learning to be with charge when it does arise, but that can only happen once we've depressurized our systems first, and then learning to hold the energy after. Because like I would notice in my own system, when I would get really excited about something, or something gave me energy and gave me life, I would have to give it away really quickly, as in go and tell everybody because I was so excited about it. But then no one really understood what I was doing or what I was talking about, and then the energy would fall flat, and then it was like, wah, wah. Like it went nowhere, when I could have actually used that, held on to it, like allowed it to move through my body, and then put it into a creative output. But I didn't know that at the time, and then I started using that, like the more I started getting used to holding that energy, I could then use it for things that would push and move my life forward. Which got me to the state where I was like, yeah, I'm ready. I can change my life and leave my job, because I can take care of myself. So yeah, that is where I'm at right now, is first of all, getting over all these ailments. And then, yeah, I'm really focusing on my mind, like what thoughts I'm inputting into my mind, which is telling my body how to behave and what to do. It's organized. It's to me, the mind is quite literally telling our physiology how to respond. So I hope this helps you. I hope this resonates. If it does, please, as usual, feel free to leave a comment on what struck you as new information, what was exciting to hear, what's going on through, like for you in your internal world when you hear this. Maybe what in your life you feel like doesn't feel good to you, and you keep rehearsing it to yourself, and your body follows through every single time. Yeah, let me know. And also let me know what you're calling in. Like, what kind of a beautiful life are you trying to lean into? Like, what are you trying to create for yourself that you're not sure how to do it? Yeah, I would love to hear. I can't wait to hear from you. And thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. It means the world to me.